Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a project on this boat. We're going to be removing the old transom and replacing it with a new wood transom. The new transom is going to be this oak veneered 3/4 inch plywood, and I know it's not marine grade or anything like that, but it's going to be I'm going to put some coating of epoxy resin on it, and that should protect it pretty good. So I'm going to do a couple of coats of that. So today we're going to be focused on removing this transom and getting it kind of into a state where I can take some measurements so I can cut out this new one. So I'm going to show you a little bit closer what this transom's got going on. All right, so this is what the transom looks like now. A lot of bolts going through it here. It has this like extra piece of aluminum in the center, and that these bolts are just a rusty mess. I have these bolts here for the for these attachment points on the back. I've already started taking this one off. I just gotta pull it out. And then I don't like these crazy diamond plate corner pieces here. I'm just gonna drill out these rivets and take these off. Okay, and taking some measurements here, I'm not going to just trace this as a template because it's got a bit of a gap here at the top. It's a little over 1/2 inch. I think I'm just going to add about 1/4 inch to the existing dimension, and so it gets a little bit closer. And down here, they just made one cut from up here down to the bottom, when really the boat does two, and they should have another point here, then here, which is a little off, then come down again, and then go across. So there should be, instead of just one cut, there should be two angles coming down. So I'm going to take some measurements there and add that, just so it doesn't look so bad right here. You know, this is just, I don't know, they just didn't spend the time on it. So I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to have it go down a little bit too. It's about 1 inch off the bottom. I don't know, I'm not sure what the standard is. I've sanded this first. I put, I think, 80 grit on this side and a 180 on the bottom here on like the side you'll see. That's really just to get kind of the high points as 80 grit, just so it's, a little bit smoother than, from the store. And then after sanding it, then I cleaned it up with this acetone here, and now I'm gonna put some epoxy resin on it. So right now I've never used this Total Boat epoxy resin and then this hardener, and so it's just one pump for each one. So it's gonna go back one until I have enough that I think that's gonna take. All right, so it's the next day after doing all that epoxy coating, and I would give myself a solid C minus maybe. This is a little bit different than what I'm used to with like paint and stuff. So I don't know if you can tell, but it didn't really cover the best. It's kind of missing some, I don't know. So what I think I did wrong, well, for one is I got the fast hardener and it should be the slow hardener. And so it was just set up on me within, 4 or 5 minutes, and it just was too much to work with. So I have really bumpy when it got really gel-like over here. So it didn't set down even. I'm going to sand this down and just do it again. I'm going to do a second coat anyway, but this, would definitely requires a second coat. So instead of painting it on like paint, like you dip your brush in the container and then paint it on, I'm just gonna like dump it on to the wood and then brush it in and spread it out. All right, I switched back over to the boat itself to kind of clean up the back aluminum here. And I don't know if you could tell, but there's a lot of pitting that has gone through the boat, and a lot of holes. When I kind of cleaned up the paint and whatnot, there's a lot of holes through the boat, and I don't know if you could see it well here. It looks like a starry night through the back of the metal transom here, so that gives you an idea of what happened. This is like a shotgun of holes through the back of this thing. Holy cow. So I'm pretty lucky that it stayed afloat in the pond when I tested it out. So anyway, so I'm gonna work on this next. You can see that I was able to clean this up, sand it off, clean it, and I cleaned it with some acetone just to get all the little dust particles and things off of it. So I also have this aluminum flashing here, and this is my idea for how to fix a lot of these holes all at the same time. I don't have a thicker piece of aluminum. I found this at the store, and I think it'll work because I don't need anything structural so much, because this has already got some rigidity to it, and I'm going to end up putting that plywood down, so that's going to be most of the structure. What I'm hoping this flashing will end up doing is it's just I'm gonna glue it with epoxy. I have some 2-part epoxy that I'm gonna put it down on it and attach it to this, and it just kind of seals a lot of the little holes up, kind of all at once. And it also provides kind of a backing material, so when I go on the outside and put that coated material on the outside and just kind of paint it on, there's some kind of like a backing board, in essence, this aluminum that'll go against, and that way it'll fill in all the holes that way. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to let it sit for about an hour, a couple hours maybe, and I ended up using all my clamps that I had here. And what I had for the idea, I was trying to figure out how I'm going to get the middle to get pressed up against the back there, and I'm using some magnets on both sides that'll help hold it up against the side here, and then I just lean some hammers up against that side. So when you come look at the back, I don't know if you could tell, there's like a lot of runs in the epoxy running down the back, and so that's a good sign that it's kind of it's really pushed up against the back of the boat. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put this coated stuff on the back of the transom here. I'm waiting for some other stuff to epoxy to finish hardening before I put the wooden transom in there. It's a 7-to-1 ratio, so, and it's by weight, not volume, they said. So I have a little scale here to measure everything out with. The batteries just ran out on my scale. So I'm pretty sure that's 2 ounces. So we're gonna mix these together. It has the consistency of paint, really. Maybe thick paint. So, you know, nothing too... I was thinking, do I need to put it on with a brush or a trowel? And I think a brush is probably the best. So this is the first coat of the coated material, and it's going on pretty thin. It's thinner than I thought it would be. And what I found out is that I wasn't mixing the part A of the 2-part mix. I wasn't mixing part A well before I mixed A and B together. So I fixed that in the second coat of this material. So the second coat goes on a lot thicker, and it ends up going on pretty easy, just like you paint, you know, just like a thick paint. But it does run, and I didn't think that would be an issue because, you know, I thought it was thick enough. But after the second coat, you can see some runs in it, and I wanted to kind of clean those up. So I ended up having to go with some sandpaper. I got some 220 sandpaper to go back and clean it up a little bit, kind of flatten it out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just, you know, wanted to kind of clean it up. And then I started using some, this is the final coat of what the black color on the back. It's going to be the back and the bottom eventually, but this is Alumahawk black paint. So I was just putting a coat of that on so I can, you know, drill the holes and get ready to put the transom in after it's all done. Sorry, buddy. Alright, so that is going to be it for this video. It is way too hot out here to be working, so I'm about to go back inside. But you got to see the last little finishing touches on this. So these are 5/16 stainless bolts, and I put some 3M 5200 sealant on it, and that's just like a dollop in the hole, and then push the bolt through it, and then put a little bit extra on the outside here. All I had was white, so that's not great. I wish I had clear, but I just used what I had. So push that in there, and then had to hold the side of the carriage bolt here because I used nylon nuts, and wanted to spin the bolt, so I had to kind of hold the bolt as best I could on the outside and then get that nut started. So it's cranked down. I actually had to drill new holes in the top of this one on the inside because I think the transom is a little wider. I think those old boards are maybe just under 3/4 inch thick. So it's just a little bit where it couldn't reach over the side there. And also these little tabs that fit over the top, I wasn't a big fan of them anyway. I think that was kind of cheap. So they also didn't fit over the top. And so what I'm going to end up doing is build a new cap, and I'm going to put that in integral with the corner piece, and I think I'm going to make it out of wood, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still kind of brainstorming. So, but the main transom is pretty much done. I have these other bolts on the ends to do, and I need some bigger like fender washers to kind of spread the load out a little bit over that transom aluminum part that wasn't the best. It was kind of cracked up, so I want a bigger washer for that. So the main part is done with getting the wood transom in and bolted, and I'm going to be kind of finishing up this project. So anyway, I hope you could learn something with this one. I sure did. This was my first transom on a John boat, so I think it went pretty well. And so I appreciate you sticking around for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.